Thank you so much again, Bing, for your take on regulatory advancements of the industry. I think it's a super important topic that we don't talk about enough. And I wanted to give a brief thank you to all of our speakers who have spoken at today's event and given their time to share their insights. It's been amazing to hear from all of you. And finally, I would like to extend a huge thank you to our audience who has hung around with us for the entire day. Your engagement, excitement to learn, and willingness to collaborate are a core piece of the success of this event and this industry. Now, I am so excited to introduce our final event of the day, Future Vision, a 3D printable structures marketplace. As a reminder for everyone, this event is being recorded. For those who were unable to join for opening remarks, this entire event was made possible thanks to the efforts of 5 undergraduate students at Georgia Tech, Jared, Guy, Cody, Alice, and myself, who you can see here in the meeting. In addition to our major studies, my team and I are pursuing minors through the Denning Technology and Management program. The goal of this program is to introduce students to working in interdisciplinary, cross-functional teams through hands-on experiential problem solving. The program concludes with a 6-month-long capstone project where students are paired with a corporate sponsor to address real-world business problems. For our capstone, my team and I have been sponsored by Caterpillar and their exploration of the 3D CP industry. This presentation that you're about to see is the culmination of months of research, user interviews, immersive travel experiences, handmade case studies, design, coding, and very hard work. I am so proud to introduce my team and our vision for what the future of 3D CP could be, a 3D printable structures marketplace. We'll be monitoring the chat for Q&A, and we'll have a brief session to talk about it at the conclusion of this presentation. Cody, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Lily. We hope that today has been insightful and has shown both the incredible opportunities as well as the hurdles of the 3DCP industry. As Lily mentioned, we're a team of students from the Denning Technology and Management program at Georgia Tech, sponsored by Caterpillar, and for the past 6 months, we have explored this industry. Over our exploration, we have conducted over 120 interviews with players all over the industry, including home buyers, investors, 3D printing companies, and home builders. We have also gone on 6 site visits around the world, learning the ins and outs of the industry to understand the problems and opportunities for growth. 3D printed Today, you heard from stakeholders around the industry. From investors and workforce development companies with Sperry and Sire 3D's talk, to contractors on the contractors panel, 3D printing companies, architects, and material providers. We've even delved into the building code hurdles of the industry. As you can see, this industry relies on innovation from so many different areas and disciplines. And from our research, we've seen that this presents both opportunities as well as difficulties for the industry. 3D printed construction has the potential to be a huge disruptor to the traditional home building market. As we've discussed throughout the day, these homes offer incredible benefits compared to traditional buildings in terms of resiliency, design freedom, energy savings, and in the future, as the technology advances out of infancy, they can be made at significant cost savings as well. After everything you've heard today, you won't be surprised that we calculate that in the next 5 years, if the industry grows as we expect it might, that 3D construction could be a $10 to $15 billion market. On top of that, according to a study by CBRE, there's an affordable housing shortage of 3.8 million homes in America. If 3D construction can begin to be made for cheaper and fill this gap, at even a 20% penetration into this unfulfilled need, this could generate an additional $7.5 billion in overall value. So our question for you is, why hasn't the industry taken off yet? While we could give you facts about different blockers, a simpler approach would be to showcase the inconsistencies of supply and demand in the industry that we believe is blocking its way to growth. Introducing John, a home buyer John has many jobs and is a corporate consultant by day. He's the father to two beautiful girls, and one of his dreams was to have a 3D printed home designed by a famous architect. Unfortunately, going straight to the architecture firm who's unfamiliar with 3D printing, he's discovered that it will be too expensive to have a famous architect build his home. So instead, he looks for a 3D builder that he hopes will be able to build him a beautiful 3D printed home. Some of the questions that he has when he's considering how to make this happen is, where do I go to learn more about 3D printed houses? How do I buy my own? What would it cost? What would the house look like? And while there are information sources on the internet, it's very difficult to locate exactly where to find all of these in a centralized location. Eventually, John discovers Print 3D Inc., a company in the space who he hopes will be able to build his house, and he has enjoyed the work that they have done in the past. But in the back of John's mind, he's thinking, am I paying the best price? Is this the best contractor for the job? And how well will my house be built? Unfortunately, 3D Print Co. or Print 3D Inc. is unavailable for this job, as their supplies only allow them to take 2 out of the 10 jobs that they have on their plate. So unfortunately, John's search for a 3D printed house ends. On the other side of the market, we have 3D Print Co., a company with the opposite problem. 3D Print Co. has a new printer they want to build with, and as it's new and there's no direct-to-consumer advertising method, they haven't been able to find a valid buyer. So instead, they're going to go out and raise money from investors, take on additional risk, and build with no guaranteed customer in the hopes that they can generate value and promote themselves in the industry for future benefit. And another company on another side of the industry, New Age Construction Co., has plans to do a 20-house development in West Palm Beach, Florida. They've been working on the plans, and their largest cost has been the architecture fees, as they believe that a high-end designer will help them market this development and bring value to their future developments. The designer is unfamiliar with the 3D printing industry, and as it costs them more man hours, they unfortunately have to charge New Age Construction Co. more, and it eats into their profits. These stakeholders are unable to connect in a standardized way, and this inconsistency is leaving a huge amount of value on the table. The industry has the potential to explode, and what it needs is a channel of distribution that allows it to reach customers and begin to grow its brand. What we propose and what we've worked on building the majority of our product is a centralized marketplace for 3D printing that allows someone on the customer side to learn more, explore houses, and connect with a contractor that can build their house, and for contributors to collaborate on thought leadership, expansive projects, and access stable demand at the level of their capacity. It allows for architects to build for the future and without risk of having a one-off opportunity. So I bet you're wondering, after all of this build-up, what could this look like? And so with that, I'm going to hand this off to my partner, Alice Shu, who's going to walk you through what we have built over the last 6 months.
Thank you, Cody, for the wonderful introduction. Go ahead and share my screen and walk you through our platform. Awesome. So, welcome to the connection of the future of 3D printed construction, a concept open marketplace for 3D printed housing plans to serve our customers, contractors, architects, and 3D printed companies in the industry. So, as we land on the homepage, we can see this is more than a place to make a purchase. We interview contractors and 3D printing companies, and we keep hearing that there's more requests than they could handle. But customers doesn't quite understand the capability of a 3D printer, what it can do and what it cannot do. Therefore, our marketplace also serves as a place to educate consumers and increase the discoverability of the industry. The project featured are in themed editions to spark interest to consumers with different preferences and showcase the capability of 3D printing construction in each of those area. The homepage also features an array of thought leadership, and we believe that the industry also is wanting to keep up with innovation in a fun and browsable way. So the consumers can come to our marketplace and see the most the latest innovation, pushing for equity and inclusion, and featuring see some of our featured vendors. So now that we've taken a look at our homepage, how about we go try and buy a house? I'm gonna go and look at our catalog. Well, I'll just take a look at all of it. Going down, hey, this one looks pretty cool. All right, let's go take a look. As we go into the product detail page, we can see the home plan is geo-blocked by zip code. And as we've heard from our speakers earlier, the houses are constrained to different climate zones and limited by different counties' building code. So the plans need to be certified by our vendors ahead of time for a certain zip code to make sure it is suitable for the area. And we'll get to how the vendors can do that at a later time. The consumers can directly hear from the designer about their design philosophy. Why did they take this approach, unlike traditional housing market, and give the house more of a soul? But we also always hear from consumers, they just don't build them like they used to. Well, we have a problem. We can solve that as well. As the housing plans are geo-locked, each plan are certified by contractors ahead of time to certify whether or not they can build this house. And give an estimated quote ahead of time so our consumers can find the house of their dream and the contractor of their dream all in one place. Similarly, with 3D printers, 3D printing companies have the opportunity to go in ahead of time and say, yes, we can build this place. So as we scroll down, look at more detail of the house, gorgeous living room, spacious bedroom, and I also see a housing plan. The review looks great. So I think I want to buy this house. Let's go all the way back up, and because 3D printing construction give you a certain amount of customization, we hear from home buyers, well, I love this design, but I need one more bedroom, or I need a 2-car garage instead of 1-car garage. So with 3D printing, we're able to give some amount of customization and flexibility in the layout. And we can even offer different rendering options. Let's say I like this sand color. So you can receive a rendering looking in the color that you want it to. Well, I've decided I want a housing plan and a contractor. So I'll go ahead and add both to cart, and we can see the price, estimated the price for the housing plan and the estimated quote for the contractor, some deposit, everything look great. I'm gonna go check out. Once you checked out, we can see that it's a part of your order. And we're not just leaving you hanging the second you press a purchase button. Throughout the process, as you're waiting for quotes from the contractor and waiting for your house to be built, we're here to offer support. And you can download your G code for your house plan on the marketplace. So now we've successfully bought a housing plan. We're waiting for our contractor to give us a quote back. How does it look on the vendor side? Well, let's go take a look. I'm gonna go ahead and sign in as a business account. And we're gonna go ahead and punch in passport and go continue. So at the first glance, this looks very similar to the consumer side. We heard from 3D printer companies that it is important for them to always keep up with the innovation in the industry, so they can always find what's new and find inspiration and what they can do better. Well, they can see all the new housing plan just the same as a consumer. And this is also a place for a company to establish their brand. as an industry leader, publish thought leadership in articles, by contributing work, as well as publishing the news about their company. So as much as this looks similar from here, from the consumer side, unfortunately, as a vendor, you cannot buy a house. But what you can do is to certify a house. We're going to go to the same house plan we looked at as on the consumer side. Unlike the consumer, we understand that for businesses, time is money. It is important that you can take a glance at all the technical information and quickly determine whether or not this is a possibility for you to build in the area that you operate. Well, then once you've taken a first glance, you can go ahead and look at more detailed information, including technical specification sheets, compatible 3D printers, and of course, floor plans. Once you've looked at all of these information and determined this is something that fits your company, you can go, contractor can put in an estimated construction cost and add it to your catalog. Well, we can see this house specifically is already in this contractor's catalog. The process is very similar for a 3D printer company to certify whether or not they can print a certain house. But now that it's in your catalog, you told your consumers you can do that. But what if you don't? We keep during our interview process, we heard from the architect that they would really love to design for 3D printing construction more, but it's hard to find technical information. They don't quite understand how to design it comparing to the current way of construction. So we also want to provide the resources for designers who are interested. And not just designers. We also heard from construction companies that education and trainings are probably the most important things to allow 3D printing to reach more areas and become a part of normal construction. So we also want to provide resources on that side. And you can always keep up with the news in the industry on our platform. So now that we know how to build it, we also heard from the architect that not just they want to have more resources, they also want to be able to collaborate with 3D printer companies and contractors more. How can you do that? Well, let's go ahead and go to messaging. Messaging is a place that you can communicate with your clients, whether they're interested in the house, whether they're ongoing clients of yours, or you've completed a job for them and they're interested to talk more, or you just want to talk to other vendors on the platform. This is the place you can do so. And of course, you always have your technical information that you need at a glance. Now, what other business capability do we have on the platform? Well, we're going to go ahead and go to the business center. During our interview process, we heard from many construction companies and 3D printer companies that there are a lot of interests, but nobody could quite tell us just how much interest they are getting. So we want to provide a quantifiable data to help them track their visits and help them grow their companies and see what area is working well and what area does not. And you can see this is a place for your brand to grow. This is a place for you to find your identity and establish yourself in the industry. Another capability that we will highlight in this demo is your profile. So the brand, we are looking at AV plus C Architect. They're one of the architecture firm that's on the platform. Well, and you can see they have 3 housing plans on the platform already. And you might wonder, why would the architect want to be a part of the platform? Something we heard from the frustration of the architect is actually there is not a stable way for them to generate income month to month. It could fluctuate greatly. And if there's anything happens, whether that be political situations or just economical situations, the work they put into a project halfway through could be totally for nothing. So this is a way for them to keep their incomes and stay relevant in the upcoming age. And you can even you can see the catalog that generates here. You can see your articles and as well as establish partnerships on the platform and say, well, I know I have this printer, so I'm going to establish partnership with them and know that every plan they publish, I'm going to be able to print, or vice versa, depends on your role as a vendor here. So we saw the catalog, we saw the home plan. How do you actually get them on the platform? We're going to go ahead and upload. There's not a great amount of centralization in the industry right now, so we want to provide a basic set of information for the architect to put in, or whoever wants to upload their plan to put in, and help with standardization and help our contractors to figure out whether or not they can build certain plan. And with that being said, That is the future of 3D CP Marketplace. And we're going to hand it back off to Cody.
Thank you, Alice. That was insightful to see. Today is your chance to begin this journey with us. We believe that this centralized and standardized marketplace will provide the industry connections, opportunities for joint innovation, and legitimacy and scalability to help expand the pie of this industry for everyone. Whether it's allowing architects the freedom to create plans for 3D printing that can be used over and over again, facilitating connections between players in the supply chain, or enabling knowledge sharing among leaders in the space, this platform is intended to support everyone in the industry. And the opportunity doesn't stop there. If you are interested in what we had to say, as well as the future of this industry, we've created an interest form for you to sign up and get more information to be an initial part of this interconnected marketplace. We'll be sending out updates as more information comes out, and this will be your chance to stay in the know on the developments of this marketplace. We will leave this up for a few more moments, and we'll be accepting any audience questions that you may have.